Steven Kittirat a interviewé plus de 700 personnalités atypiques. Depuis 2016, il s'est donné une mission, mettre en lumière des parcours inspirants. Ce n'est pas son métier, mais Steven a tout d'un professionnel. Une longévité rare, une curiosité insatiable et une audace rafraîchissante. Au cours de son parcours, il a interviewé entre autres Philippe Croizon, l'inventeur du TGV ou celui de la carte à puce. Toutes ces rencontres l'ont mené à réaliser des projets ambitieux. Il a notamment réalisé un documentaire primé à Rome, une conférence TEDx, Vivre sa vie, ou encore des entretiens dans des lieux insolites, du sommet d'un volcan à la grotte d'un explorateur. Son mantra, n'ayez pas peur de briller, mais veillez toujours à éclairer le chemin des autres.
Bonjour à toutes, bonjour à tous, bonjour Chloé.
Bonjour Steven, bonjour Kenneth.
Bonjour Kenneth. Bah, écoute, je suis ravi d'être à nouveau là ensemble pour interviewer une personne incroyable, atypique, Kenneth Johnson, qui est acteur, scénariste, producteur, qui est connu notamment pour des séries comme l'incroyable Hulk, V, l'homme qui valait 3 milliards et tant d'autres. Donc, bonjour Kenneth.
So Steven is saying hello to everybody, and he's saying hello to you, Kenneth Johnson, who are the director, producer, writer of the V series, the series that you know all. It's V, and then Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, and then again the man who was worth 3 billion. Maybe we talk about the title that's changed depending in where you are. And right. We have some questions for you, Kenny. We're very happy to have you tonight with us. Thank you.
I'm happy to be here, and I really appreciate the chance to speak to my friends in France. I only wish I could speak as I can do a French dialect a bit, but when I begin to talk, they think, oh, you can speak French, and suddenly it's and I know no. Mon vocabulaire est not good.
Alors Kenneth était vraiment quelqu'un incroyable. On a fait des petits essais tout à l'heure en français, en allemand, en russe. Il a l'accent français. Enfin, en tout cas, moi, je trouve qu'il a vraiment un très bon accent français, mais il dit qu'il parle peu. Mais moi, je crois qu'il se sous-estime. Donc, il est très content de s'adresser ce soir, en tout cas aujourd'hui, au public français.
Oui. Et puis, bonne année aussi. Hein.
Ah, Happy New Year, by the way.
Oh, bonne année, right?
Oui, c'est ça.
Right.
Exactly.
Good.
Alors oui, première question pour Kenneth. Au départ, il voulait faire un Hulk rouge et finalement le Hulk vert a été retenu. Pourquoi cette décision?
So I'll start by showing this picture of the Incredible Hulk, in French, l'incroyable Hulk. Yes, that you can find here too, but you have the real person. Donc là, vous avez l'acteur. C'était dans les années 1980, 1977. 1980. So the question, sorry. You want to say something?
Yeah, well, I was going to say that that photo of me and Louis Ferrigno, who played the Hulk, this was taken in Times Square in New York City because I was trying to put the real world around the creature because I wanted to show that it was living in the real world, and I said to Universal, I want to take him and let him run through Times Square, chasing somebody or something, right? And because Times Square is known around the world. It's a place that's so real, that you have to say, wow, he really is here. And so we did that. We went back and we did a scene where he had to run right down Broadway, right into the center of Times Square with all thousands of people watching. And that's what that photo was taken that day. It was we did the pilot in 1977. That's when the Hulk started. And this scene we shot in early 1978. In March of 1978. It was very cold, and Lou had nothing on except a shirt. But it was wonderful to be able to put the creature in the real world of New York City, and that's why I went to do it.
So let me translate. Alors, cette photo qu'on a vue date du tournage donc, qui s'est produit à Times Square, à New York, en 1978. Et en fait, l'intention de Kenneth, c'était de montrer Hulk vraiment dans un environnement réel. Et là, quoi de plus réel que cet endroit très connu mondialement à New York. Vous savez, où vous avez les panneaux de publicité qui sont très, très lumineux, très, très emblématiques de la ville de New York. Et comme ça donnait beaucoup plus de réalité au personnage de Hulk. Alors, la question, Stephen's question is, why did you choose to make Hulk green instead of red, which was the initial color? Oh, it's upsetting.
No, it's the other way around. I went to Stan Lee created the comic book. Stan Lee,
yes,
dear friend and a close friend from all the way through life. And when I first was talking to him about doing it, I said, Stan, why is he green? I said, the green is envy. You are green with envy. You are jealous is green, you know. Yes. Is he the jealous Hulk? Is he the envious Hulk? You know, I said, no. The color of rage is red. Our face gets red and you get flushed with anger. It should be red. And he couldn't convince him to let me change it, but I tried.
So do you know why he chose this color green?
Yes.
Red.
The first comic book was in black and white. And when they finally decided to go to color, the printer came to Stan and said, we think we could make a really consistent green. And I said, Stan, that's crazy. You know, what were you thinking? It's like, he said, well, we did it and that's the way he is. And so you're stuck with it.
Okay, so it's a matter of printer. So it's a matter of printer.
That's right. Not even the publisher. It was the actual people that printed the stuff. They said, we can make a good green. And Stan said, okay, make him green.
Let me translate. It's very interesting. Alors, donc, je demandais à Kenneth pourquoi le personnage était vert au lieu de rouge, comme originellement dans la BD, en fait. C'est Stan Lee qui a fait les Marvel, qui a fait ce personnage en vert pour une raison, en fait, qui n'a rien à voir avec une envie personnelle ou une réalité. C'est que simplement l'imprimante qui permettait de colorer, enfin d'imprimer cette BD quand elle est passée du noir et blanc aux couleurs, était plus efficace. C'est ce qu'en tout cas il a entendu, il a reçu comme message, que ça permettait de faire un beau vert, un vert qui était consistant, persistant, un vert qui était flashy, mieux qu'un rouge, avec simplement les moyens du bord. Et que c'est pour ça que c'est devenu vert pour une histoire d'imprimante. D'accord. Et ce qu'il continue à dire, c'est qu'il était très, choqué par cette couleur, parce que pour lui, le vert, c'est la jalousie, c'est l'envie, c'est pas du tout la colère qu'il voulait donner, impulser à son personnage. Et pour lui, la rage, l'énervement, le fait qu'il craque tous ses habits, c'était le rouge, c'était vraiment la couleur de l'énervement vert. Et du coup, ça le met hors de lui parce que, originellement, il aurait voulu que ce soit cette couleur rouge qui était prévue au départ et qui était beaucoup plus emblématique que le vert. Je crois que la deuxième question que tu voulais poser, c'est par rapport au prénom.
Oui, d'abord, c'est Bruce Banner, le nom du héros. Et là, il est vide.
Oh, so the second question is about the name of Hulk, of the hero. Initially, it's supposed to be David. And then, Bruce, I don't know. Bruce. And the other one is David. So how come you changed the name?
Because I was trying I changed the name from David Banner to Bruce Banner, or rather the other way. I changed it from Bruce Banner to David Banner. I'll start again. Here we go. One more time.
Let's go.
The reason I wanted to change the name of the character Bruce Banner was because it was alliterative. BB, Bruce Banner. This is a comic book trope. Yeah. It's a comic book cliche. Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Peter Parker. They all have alliterative names. And that always just screams comic book. And I wanted to take it away from comic book and give him a more realistic name that didn't have any. I was trying to get away from all of the comic book background.
Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. We're learning things with you, Kenny. So tonight, I'll translate. Alors, l'histoire du changement de nom, parce que Bruce Banner, normalement, c'était le nom originel de Hulk. Et en fait, Bruce Banner, c'est un peu comme Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Peter Parker, Lex Luthor. C'est des noms qui sont allitératifs, c'est-à-dire qu'on a les mêmes lettres pour le prénom et pour le nom de famille. Et ça, c'est quelque chose de très typique des BD et des comic books, donc des Marvel quand ils sont sur un comic books. Et donc, Kenneth voulait s'émanciper de cette appellation qui faisait trop comic books. Donc, il a décidé de lui donner un nom qui était différent, qui commençait par une lettre différente de son nom de famille, parce que c'est Bruce Banner. Il a décidé de l'appeler David Banner pour donner une consonance beaucoup plus réaliste, vraisemblable du personnage. Et le sortir de l'univers des comics, en fait. Intéressant. Très intéressant. Next question.
Est-ce que tu peux nous demander s'il a eu accès à des sources confidentielles qui l'ont inspiré pour la série V?
So, did you have access to confidential sources to make the series V or visit this one?
No. The idea came from a novel written by Sinclair Lewis, American novelist, 1935. There was a book he wrote called It Can't Happen Here. It was about the rise of fascism in Germany and Italy that was happening in 1935, with the idea that, well, in America, that couldn't happen. Could happen here. And the point of the book is, yes, it can happen here. And he was fearful that it might. And indeed, and I was intrigued about that idea and about how everyday people would react to suddenly living in a different country where they didn't have the rights that they used to have, and how. Well, tell that much, Chloé, and then I'll say a little more.
Yeah, so I'll translate. En fait, on me demandait si l'idée venait de lui et s'il avait eu accès à des sources confidentielles pour créer cette série V. Et en fait, ce qu'il nous dit, Kenneth, c'est que il s'est inspiré d'un roman de Sinclair Lewis de 1935 qui parlait du fascisme et qui s'appelait It Can Happen Here. Ça veut dire ça ne peut pas arriver ici. En faisant référence à l'Italie et à l'Allemagne dans lequel le fascisme faisait rage. Et donc, il voulait faire une série qui parle de restriction de liberté et de fascisme, mais sous une autre forme. Ça m'amène à une question, je pense qu'il va être la seconde peut-être, c'est pourquoi avoir pris des personnages qui sont des extraterrestres et des reptiliens? En fait, c'est ça que moi je pense qu'on pourrait poser maintenant comme question à Kenny. Kenny, please tell us, why did you choose like least
yes, well,
aliens to embody these characters, to talk about freedom, lack of freedom and loss of freedom, and this martial law. And so, why did you choose these characters?
Well, when I originally in the script that I wrote, it was going to be a movie. And there were no aliens or spaceships in it. It was a grassroots fascist uprising in a small part of America. And then suddenly we realized, oh my gosh, it's going on everywhere. It had spread. And my friends at NBC, the network, loved the idea of America under occupation by a foreign or by an oppressive force. But they said, couldn't it be the Chinese or the Soviets in 1984, when we did it. And I said, no, I don't believe that could really happen. And one guy at NBC said, how about aliens? And I thought, I don't want more sci-fi, but, and I really got angry. No. But they said, well, just think, we want to do something with this. Just think about it and come back tomorrow and let us know, And I said, okay. So I went home and I was just seething. But then I thought, is it très brilliant, très formidable idea? It's an idea that was really good because I could still tell the story that I wanted to tell, which was about power, about how individual people react to power. And some, like the Vichy French in World War II, were collaborators with the Nazis, right? Other people would just go along to get along, keep their head down. But the heroes became the resistance, and that said, no, this is we have to fight back. And that's what I loved about it. But I realized that with sci-fi stuff and little spaceships flying around, and here's another one here.
Yeah,
I see. Made by a fan. This was made by a fan, But I could tell the story that I wanted to tell about power, but have all of that visual stuff going on that would really attract a larger audience. And that's why I decided to do that. And then tell that much, Chloé, and then I'll explain about Le Reptilien.
Yeah. All right. Alors, la traduction, c'est que pourquoi Kenneth a choisi des extraterrestres, des lézards, des reptiliens. Au départ, ce n'était pas du tout son intention. Il ne voulait justement pas rester dans le de la science-fiction. Il a tendance à être catalogué science-fiction, puisqu'il avait fait Hulk, il avait fait l'homme bionique de 3 milliards. Donc, il ne voulait pas rester dans cette case-là. Et il a eu un ami, en fait, il a eu des gens de NBC, dont une personne qui a pensé au départ, il pensait à mettre des opposants au système américain. Ça pouvait être des Chinois, des Russes. Et puis quelqu'un a parlé de mettre en scène des extraterrestres. Donc au début, il n'était pas du tout d'accord, Kenny. Mais finalement, il a été tellement... les gens de NBC ont supplié ça parce que le public allait plus adhérer, allait plus aimer cette forme d'ennemi, quelque part. Donc il a accepté. Et finalement, il a trouvé que c'était une brillante idée, comme il l'a très bien dit en français, Kenneth. You told it very, very well in French. C'était une brillante idée. Ça permettait de vraiment montrer le pouvoir, enfin les règles, enfin pas les règles, les dangers d'un pouvoir qui vient d'ailleurs. Et ça permettait d'illustrer le fascisme, le totalitarisme. Et finalement, les héros dans le film, parce qu'au départ, ils voulaient faire un film, c'était pas prévu d'être une série au départ, étaient en fait les résistants. C'est la résistance, comme durant la Deuxième Guerre mondiale. Et tous les gens qui ont obéi à ces extraterrestres, à ces personnages de V, étaient assimilés en fait à des collabos.
Les visiteurs contre la résistance.
Les visiteurs contre la résistance.
Oui, c'est
Ah, c'est le nom de la série. Yeah, Stephen is telling me.
C'est les méchants et la résistance, c'est les trucs qui
Yeah, Stephen is telling me that one of the series, it's one of the episodes. C'est l'un des épisodes.
Non, c'est dans toute la série.
Ça, en fait. The general title for V is Visitors Against Resistance. Is that?
I came up with the title was just simply V, because in the U.S. And it was when I was doing my research, I would see posters in France. There were the Nazi propaganda posters with the German Wehrmacht with the little Dutch girls and French girls on their shoulders, hi, we're the Nazis, we're the new guys in town, and we want to be your friends and take you off to concentration camps, but that's another thing. And you'd see these German propaganda posters were all over Europe. But the resistance, the resistance would go out and spray paint a big red V over the poster. V for victory. V for victory. That's what V was always for, victory. And in the original miniseries, old Abraham, who had been a Holocaust survivor, teaches the children who are messing around. He says, no, you're going to do it. You do it right. You make it like this for victory. You understand? Go tell your friends. And it makes me crazy when people say, oh, V stands for visitors. No, never.
Alors, ce qu'il explique, c'est que à l'époque du nazisme, on mettait des grands V qui étaient dessinés sur les affiches nazies pour dire victoire, en fait, pas V. Et du coup, ça a été détourné. Et quand il entend Kenny que certains pensent que le V, c'est pour dire visiteur, c'est pas du tout le cas. C'était vraiment le V de la victoire. Et il aimerait bien réhabiliter ce V de la victoire qui était vraiment le sens originel du V. Moi, j'aimerais quand même poser une question par rapport à l'époque du Covid. Est-ce qu'il a considéré qu'on était aussi dans une forme de totalitarisme et est-ce que la résistance actuelle contre les mesures totalitaires, on peut les mettre en parallèle avec les résistants de sa série? Ça te dit?
Ouais, ça me dit.
Okay, we have an extra question about the COVID period, the COVID times that we just lived, that we just went through. Can you see similarities between the resistance and the invaders that you describe in your series with, could I say, totalitarian measures or measures that we were submitted to during these 2 years to pass 2020 to 2022? Is there a parallel to make?
I think I think when people who have been living in freedom, as you have in France and we have in America since the revolutions, our mutual revolutions, are suddenly told you have to wear a mask. There are always people that go, no, I don't want to wear a mask, but the government says you have to. I don't like the government telling me that. It's bullshit. But the idea is not to spread the plague, you idiots, and they have to. It was very frustrating for people who had any sense of scientific reality. To see other people saying, well, I just don't feel like I should have to wear a mask. And so it was very angry. And there were elements of that made me think of V as well. And then I want to tell you about, so translate that, Chloe, and then I will talk about the reptilians.
Yeah. Okay, and then, c'est pas du tout la même chose parce que le gouvernement avait raison de nous dire de mettre des masques pour nous protéger. Personnellement, je ne suis pas d'accord avec cette assertion, mais c'est ce que Kenneth nous dit. Donc, pour lui, il n'y a pas vraiment de parallèle à faire. Et maintenant, il aimerait qu'on parle des reptilians, des reptiliens.
Ouais.
Alors, quelle était ta question suivante?
Par rapport à l'épisode de la bataille finale, il a été écarté du projet pour divergence artistique. Enfin, il va nous un peu plus. Est-ce qu'il va nous révéler aujourd'hui ce qu'il aurait prévu de faire s'il n'aurait pas été écarté
Je crois qu'avant cette question, on avait le rapport avec les reptilians, non?
Par rapport à la série V, est-ce que c'est inspiré des événements réels et est-ce que passion gouvernementale?
So the characters you chose, the reptilians, NBC chose. Sorry.
No. They just wanted they just wanted it to be aliens. I had to then figure out how to do that, And so I thought, okay, what kind of race could, other than Homo sapien, could there have been on Earth? And my research led to the fact that up until 65 million years ago, the reptiles ruled the Earth. They were the dominant species, were reptiles on the Earth. But then there was a collision of a comet came in, hit the Earth, boom, created global warming in 65 million years ago, and most of the reptiles died off, and the mammals who were scrambling around underneath eventually evolved into who we are. So I wanted something that could be truthful. And if that comet had not hit, it's very likely there could have been a reptilian race of bipeds like we are, walking around and with brains and everything. And so in V, one of the principal characters was an anthropologist who explains that when to the audience and to the people in the story about this could have happened here. The reptiles could rule the earth. And I realized that would be very good. And also metaphor. There was a metaphor. The Nazis, when they came in, said, "Hi, we are here to be your friends. We are good guys," said the Nazis to begin with. And then they revealed their darker face, their other side, you know, that they were really had other agendas. And with V, I could literally remove their face, you know. So it was always a metaphor for people that come to power with promises of wonderful things and then reveal themselves to be something else underneath.
C'est... Alors en fait, Kenneth tenait à expliquer pourquoi lui, il a choisi les reptiles, parce qu'au départ, la NBC avait parlé d'extraterrestres, mais n'avait pas précisé la race ou l'apparence de ces extraterrestres, et Kenneth a décidé de prendre des reptiles pour deux raisons. La première raison, c'est il a fait référence à l'extinction des dinosaures et des reptiles il y a 65 millions d'années, d'après ce qu'il nous dit, avec une comète, en tout cas c'est la personne qui a causé cette extinction, et que peut-être que s'il n'y avait pas eu cette comète et cette extinction, eh bien, on aurait aujourd'hui des reptiles bipèdes qui marchent sur deux pattes, avec l'évolution éventuellement de l'ethnie de ces reptiles-là. Et la deuxième chose, c'est qu'il voulait faire une métaphore avec les gens qui font semblant d'être bienveillants pour accéder au pouvoir, comme les nazis avec l'air, et qui, une fois au pouvoir, retirent leur masque et montrent leur vrai visage. Et avec des reptiles, c'est très clair, en fait, le message il est très clair, on voit tout de suite, quand ils enlèvent leur peau humaine, on voit dessous les intentions, en fait, le vrai personnage qui se cache derrière. Donc c'était plus explicite, beaucoup plus clair, avec des reptiles qui avaient, par exemple, je ne sais pas, un tigre, des ours, je ne sais pas quoi, ou des mammifères. C'est pour ça qu'il a choisi, c'est ces deux raisons-là, pour la métaphore aussi.
Okay.
Great.
And if you go on my website, kennethjohnson.us, Kenneth Johnson, one word, kennethjohnson.us, you can find out about getting one of these. You can get this online.
What is it?
You print this up for yourself, okay? And then you cut this up, and what you can make from it is your visitor friend who looks like this.
Oh, it's okay, cute.
And it's fun, isn't it? Cute, yes, but look what's underneath. Oh,
oh, that's great.
That's one of my favorite toys from V. Yeah, and you can print it online for free and make your own visitor friend.
Okay, I'll tell it right away. En fait, il nous montre Kenneth l'origami, enfin le pliage qu'on trouve sur son site kennethjohnson.us. Donc Kenneth Johnson, c'est en un seul mot. Et on trouve donc ce qu'il nous a montré. Show it again, please. Voilà, le papier où vous pouvez découper le collage et enfin le modèle et fabriquer donc. Show it again, please. The character, donc le petit personnage avec qui est dans sa c'est un personnage qui en fait représente les visiteurs et qui ensuite enlève tu tournes le visage, tu enlèves la casquette, tu tournes le visage et après tu vois le reptile, le visiteur dessous. Voilà, il a pensé à tout, Kenneth. Ouh là là, I'm scared. Please. Great. So we'll have fun. Great. Thanks to you. Let's go for this one that we missed. La question.
La bataille finale, l'épisode de la bataille finale, il a été écarté du projet pour diverses raisons artistiques. Qu'est-ce que lui, il aurait fait s'il avait pu finir?
So this is the final battle that you were how do you say, they chased you, they fired you, or they didn't want you?
No, I didn't want them.
Oh, you didn't want them. Sorry.
That's what happened. Well, yeah, the Warner Brothers and let me start over again. NBC wanted to do a 6-hour sequel to our original 4-hour miniseries. It was just going to be called V, the conclusion, la conclusion. Is that the right? No, something like that. Okay. And I worked with 3 other really talented writers in the summer of 1983, and we created what was going to be the 6-hour sequel, which they helped me to write, and that I was going to executive produce and direct. But Warner Brothers only agreed to that, because they wanted to have a series of separate series that I would create, having nothing to do with V, because they wanted to be in the episodic series business, not in the miniseries business, because you make way more money in doing series. And they wanted me to get on and do create another new series, but I said, no, I want to direct my V movie first. And we went back and forth, but they were afraid. This is a quote. They said, well, we're afraid you won't do it as quick and cheap and dirty as we want to get it done. And I said, dirty, yes. That's which is, in other words, they just wanted to throw away and get it over with the final battle as quickly as possible and as cheaply as possible. And I said, no, it has to have the quality that our original has. And we just we could not agree. So I said, no, I will walk away. And they were shocked, because that meant I was walking away also from several $1 million doing another series, but I didn't care. I was trying to protect my baby, And so I took, lastly, Chloe, I took my name off of the final battle, and you will see instead of my name is Lillian Weezer. Okay, Lillian Weezer, Lillian Weezer, who was my dog. We had a golden retriever at that time named Lillian Weezer, and so,
really?
Yes. So if you go on the IMDb, you will see that Lillian Weezer has her own page on the IMDb. But she only wrote one thing, and that was the sequel to The Final Battle.
But it's the real name of your real dog, or is the same name?
Yes, it was the real name. It was. I took my name off. No, Kenneth Johnson. No, Kenneth Johnson did not write this. Lillian Weezer wrote that, and writers will do that sometimes if a studio does things that they don't like and they don't believe in what the studio's doing, so they take their name off the script. That's what I did.
So in the end, they made the 6-hour version or the 4 hours. Sorry, I missed that.
This was for the 6-hour for the final battle. If you look on the final battle, you'll see my name maybe as creator somewhere, but for the writing credit, my name is not on there, because I didn't believe in how they had changed the script when they handed it to new people to do.
And so it was okay. But we'll go into it just next to it. So I'll explain in French. Donc en fait, Warner Bros, c'est le studio avec lequel il travaillait, avait peur que Kenneth n'aille pas assez vite et ne fasse pas des épisodes. Il voulait les faire plutôt au rabais. Il voulait que Kenneth soit d'accord de faire des épisodes très vite, très peu chers et très dirty. Donc c'est sale. Ça veut dire de façon bâclée, pas forcément avec la qualité que Kenneth comptait mettre dans ses épisodes, parce que c'est comme ça, c'est cette passion. Il ne voulait pas du tout bâcler cette série. Et donc, il s'est retiré de ce deal, et il a mis, au lieu de son nom, sur la Final Battle, donc la bataille finale, donc c'est cette couverture-là, qui est une série en 6 heures, je crois, finalement. Elle devait être en 4 heures, et finalement, elle a été faite en 6 heures. On va un peu aller dans le détail juste après, pour savoir en quoi c'était différent. Et il a enlevé son nom et il a mis le nom de son chien à la place. Vous pouvez aller sur la page du film, de la série, et vous verrez le nom de Million. How do you spell it? Million Wizard. Million.
The what?
The name of your dog. How do you spell it?
Oh, Lillian.
Lillian.
Lillian. Lillian. Lillian. Lillian.
Oh, yeah.
Last name Weezer. Weezer.
Oh, donc le nom du chien.
It was a nickname. She was Lily, our dog, was named really for Lillian Hellman, who was a wonderful American writer. But my wife has a way of turning Lillian into Lily, and then Lily into Louise, and then ended up sometime with Lillian Weezer, and that was our joke for our family. But I decided to make it a joke for the world. So.
Right, thank you very much. Dans l'histoire du nom de son chien, au départ, il s'appelait Lilian Hellman, Lilian, en fait, Lilian Hellman, qui était quelqu'un de connu. Et finalement, à force de mal le dire, parce qu'il l'appelait le chien ils essayaient de respecter ce nom, parce qu'il y avait apparemment un prénom, un nom de famille. Ça s'est transformé en Lilian Weezer, donc W-E-E-Z-E-R, qui n'avait plus aucun rapport avec rien, mais en tout cas, c'est comme ça qu'il a fini par s'appeler, donc c'est devenu son surnom, Lillian Weezer. Donc voilà, ce sera l'auteur officiel de la série V, qui n'a pas été faite par Kenneth. So what was the difference between the story, between what they did and what you plan to do with this series, Final Battle?
When they handed it off to other people to rewrite the script that we had written, let me start again. Take two. After we had written the 6-hour sequel during the summer of 1983, we had written a script that was in many ways better than what my original miniseries had been. Because I had 3 more really bright writers working with me. And when I left the show, the studio gave it to another group of people, writers and producers. And all of my friends who continued to work on the show as actors and some of the technicians told me I should never see it or ever read the new script because it was so diminished from what we had done and what we had tried to and what we had originally created, that they said you can never watch it, Kenny, because it will make you crazy. And so to this day, I only have ever seen 30 seconds of it accidentally when I was changing channels one day. And I saw in 30 seconds, I saw them make every mistake they could make in 30 seconds. And I thought, oh my God.
Like which one?
Well, tell that much first, because otherwise it'll get too complicated.
Ok, donc il nous dit qu'il n'a même pas regardé, le maximum qu'il a regardé de la nouvelle série, c'est 30 secondes, mais accidentellement en changeant les chaînes, et qu'il n'a pas voulu regarder parce que l'un de ses amis qui est acteur, lui a dit que c'était tellement diminué par rapport à la version qu'il avait prévu de faire et que vraiment c'était du gâchis, et que dans cette série de 6 heures, ils avaient fait toutes les erreurs qui étaient possibles de faire. Donc c'est pour ça que j'étais en train de demander à Kenneth quelles erreurs, quelles choses ont été faites qui n'auraient pas dû être faites dans cette série. Et aussi, j'aimerais, and also, I'd like to ask you how it ends, how you planned to end the series and how they finally ended the series.
I don't know how they, well, I did hear that at the end, I'll start again. I did hear that at the end of the 6 hours, there was a baby that had been born, which we had written and planned, and somehow at the very end, she's a bad kid. She was an evil child, And in our story, she was evil through and through, all the way through to the end. And I heard that at the end of their script, she suddenly became this magical star child who could go woo, 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 and make everything okay. And it did make me crazy, you know. So that's the story about the ending, as much as I know about it. You want to see that, and then I'll tell you the rest.
First, I have a question. The baby, is he from the alien, from the reptiles? This baby?
Yeah. Yes, we you know, in the original 4 hours, I wanted to show that the teenage girl had a close encounter of the fourth kind with one of the alien boys, and that she was pregnant, and that the birth happened in the sequel, in the 6-hour sequel, and she gave birth to twins, one of which was this beautiful little girl who was pure evil on the inside, and the other was a really little reptilian creature, and that's what we had written, and I don't know how they handled the other half of it, but that's the way that it ended up. That as I just told you, that's what they told me it ended with now, where the evil girl suddenly became, you know, a goddess or something. Yeah, a fairy princess, you know, a fairy godmother. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, so it was a bad idea. But what the 30 seconds that I saw, we had written a scene in the sequel. I wanted to have to bring religion into it, and I said, let's have a priest that gives the Bible to Diana. But he's not. He was a very, I don't know how you say streetsy in French. Very of the people. He was a guy from poverty who had become a priest.
Populaire, christique, un peu, like Christ, like Jesus.
No. The priest was a man of. Yeah, he was a Catholic. Start again. when we were doing the sequel, I wanted to introduce Diana, the bad woman of V, to the concept of religion and how she would respond to somebody telling her about religion, and I wanted to have a priest like in L'Exorciste, the Exorcist, you know the movie? Okay. Father Karras in The Exorcist was a guy from the streets. He talked like this, you know, and he was a very real guy who had grown up in poverty, and he grew up to be a priest, you know, and he was very convinced. And so that's the kind of character I wanted. And in the story, he has given Diana a Bible, and now he's coming to her. This is the 30 seconds that I saw. He's coming to her to see how the Bible has affected her, you know, and in the story that we wrote, in the script that we wrote, Diana was very troubled. She was very upset. She was beginning to think about things that she'd never thought about before, or so she seemed to be. And she said to the priest, he said, "Did you read the Bible? Did you get into it?" And she said, and she's saying, "Yes, I did. And it made me feel things I didn't like, and I don't like that." And she pulled a gun up and blew his head off. Boom, like that. It was like right there. It was a shocking scene.
But it was your script. With the bullets, it was your screen.
With a bullet, yeah, with a bullet. She whatever, or one of her ray guns or something. I don't know, but she blew his head off. He was dead, and that fast. And then when I saw that 30 seconds of it, and it was. We were trying to show a side of Diana we hadn't seen, and then suddenly turn around and see, no, she's still Diana. Boom, he's dead. But in the movie that they made, they had gone out and they'd hired an old Irish actor who talked like that and says, "Well, Diana, darling, I'm the family priest, you know, darling, and have you read your Bible, Diana?" You know, and they shot it so that the priest is back here. in the background, and Diana is right up in the front, and he's talking to her, saying, "Have you read your Bible?" And she up in the front is going, "Yes, priest, I read your Bible." So we can see already that she's lying to him, you know, and just like that, it was just awful. And then so that when she finally turns around and shoots him, it's not a surprise, it's not a shock. She's just, we say, telegraphing it. She's been telegraphing it all the way by just doing all of her, yes, I know. So it was awful. And I realized 30 seconds, no more.
So let me, just one last thing. The reptilian, one of the twins, you know, the girl and the reptilian. The reptilian was supposed to be nice, or in your
it was script? Benevolent. It was benevolent, yes. And ultimately, as I recall, and again, it's been 40 more years since I have even looked at that script, you know. But as I recall, that the idea of the red dust that we came up with that might be able to make the aliens go away, it came from that little other infant, the twin that was the lizard twin. I think that's what happened. Like I said,
let me sum up in French.
Okay.
Alors les erreurs enfin les différences en tout cas qui ont été faites entre les deux versions, la version qui est sortie et puis la version qu'il avait prévue, faisaient par exemple mention de bébé. Donc à la fin normalement de la série qu'il avait prévue, il y avait une reptilienne qui accouchait de deux. Enfin, je ne sais plus si elle était métisse ou elle était que reptilienne, mais en tout cas, elle accouchait de deux bébés, donc de jumeaux. Et c'était censé être une petite fille et un petit garçon. Donc, le petit garçon était censé être un reptilien et la petite fille était censée être humaine, mais elle allait devenir une très, très mauvaise... enfin, vraiment, c'est vraiment Chucky, en fait. C'est vraiment la petite fille qui a l'air mignonne comme tout, qui devient le diable. Et en fait, dans la version finale... il y a cette petite fille, mais qui finalement est présentée comme une princesse, comme quelqu'un d'extraordinaire, qui est merveilleuse. Et donc, il n'y a pas ce côté piquant de la série qu'il voulait donner. Et puis, la deuxième chose, c'est qu'il nous explique les fameuses 30 secondes qu'il a regardées par erreur, dans laquelle il y a une scène avec un prêtre qui, en fait, s'inspire de la version qu'il avait prévue lui, avec un prêtre, normalement, qui devait être issu du peuple, enfin, quelqu'un de pauvre, plutôt bourru, avec une voix un petit peu graveleuse comme ça, et qui devait essayer d'inspirer Diana, donc l'héroïne qui est méchante en fait, hein, qui devait lui donner une Bible et qui devait lui donner envie de se mettre à la religion catholique. En fait, dans la première version, Diana se retourne de façon inattendue vers le prêtre et le tue en lui tirant une balle entre les deux yeux. Et en fait, dans la version qu'ils ont gardée, ils ont pris un prêtre complètement déjanté, avec un accent irlandais, qui est tout à fait contraire, enfin pas du tout le même personnage que celui qu'il avait prévu. Et dans la fameuse scène où Diana a tué le prêtre, finalement, on voit la scène arriver parce qu'on voit le prêtre derrière, on voit Diana devant, qui est en train de se moquer et de prendre à la dérision le prêtre, et on sent, on attend, on voit qu'elle se prépare à le tuer. Donc, il n'y a pas l'effet de surprise, il n'y a pas l'effet de suspense. Et donc, c'est ça qu'il a vu, les seules 30 secondes qu'il a vues de la réalisation finale, qui lui ont fait dire vraiment que c'était vraiment gâché, que tout ça, c'était mal foutu, que c'était cousu de fil blanc. Et
bravo, Chloé.
That's about it. Thank
Bravo,
you.
Chloé.
Merci. I hope I didn't forget
Oh no, it was all perfect. Everything you said was exactly right.
Oh, thank you. You don't know, but thank you for your confidence.
I have no idea. No, you know, she could have been, yeah, Stephen, she could be saying anything to you. You know, I don't know. I hear it go by and I pick up enough. No, it's good. I have about 10 minutes or so left.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Okay.
We're almost done. So, il est en train de dire que j'ai très bien traduit, que c'est parfait, puis en fait, il comprend rien, donc il dit, en fait, je comprends pas ce qu'elle dit, donc Steven, je pourrais dire n'importe quoi. One last question.
Alors, dernière, est-ce qu'il peut nous parler d'un projet qui n'a pas abouti, comme prévu, et s'il en a appris pour ses futures créations, il en a tiré des leçons.
Okay, so apart from this, our final battle that didn't go the way you planned to, is there another movie or another series that you didn't do like you wanted to do, or that didn't that weren't achieved, or I don't know, and you learn about this this failure or this miscarrying? I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
No, this V was singular because always before, whenever I had created a project, I have stayed with it and gone through. With The Incredible Hulk, 5 years of Incredible Hulk. Yeah. And I was there from beginning to end with Bill Bixby, my friend actor. And when we did Alien Nation in the 1990s, which was about a group of aliens, again, aliens, you know, but I realized I could do a story that was really about these people who had crashed here in a slave ship and moved in, 250,000 of them with no way to get home and back to where they came from. And so they moved into Los Angeles and became the world's newest minority. And 20th Century Fox had done a movie, was not successful, but they thought that it might be able to be a series. And they were thinking about Lethal Weapon, you know, with a human cop and an alien cop. But when I looked at the movie, what struck out to me was the idea of exploring what it was like to be the newest minority, what it was like to be one of the other group, a group of immigrants, you know, literally coming in and having to be assimilated, and the prejudice and the discrimination and the intolerance against them. It really intrigued me, and so we did that for 20th Century Fox. It became a wonderful series, and then we did 5 subsequent TV movies after that. But it was always about living in the real world and what it was like to be a minority. And we got awards and commendations from all of the minorities in the country, the Asian American, African American, Hispanic American, LGBTQ, everybody who was an other realized it was about them. And that was tremendously rewarding. And, you know, and I love being able to do that a lot. And
what was
go ahead.
The title, sorry, what was it?
The title of the title of the show was Alien Nation. Now, Alien Nation can be one word, which means you are against something. You know, you feel an alienation toward it. You feel alien. And the title of the show was 2 words, Alien Nation. So, I get it. They're aliens, and now they're part of the nation. You know, and that was the concept. And it has. And it was wonderfully received. We won Emmys. We were on all kinds of awards for being able to speak to what it's like to be different. Like Johnny Five in Short Circuit 2. When we were doing Short Circuit 2, it was really about trying to see through the stereotype of the robot. And here it's about trying to see through the stereotype of an alien creature or a transgender person or a Black person or somebody that was not a white American male, you know. So it was important to us. But
so this one was a movie or a series?
This was a TV. It first was a movie that somebody else made that didn't do very well, and then Fox called me and said, "Would you look at the movie and see if we could turn it into a TV series?" And that's what became of it. And I didn't want to do it at first just because of alien in it. But again, then I realized I could do a piece. It was metaphorical. It was a metaphor about what it's like to be different. And I was raised, tell them that much, Chloé, and then I'll tell you one more thing that's important about this.
Yeah. Oh, OK, sorry. Alors là, il est en train de nous parler d'un film en fait, je ne sais pas si c'est vraiment en lien avec la question, mais il s'appelle Alien Nation. En fait, c'est un jeu de mots avec aliénation, parce que si on le dit en un seul mot, c'est l'aliénation. Et en fait, il était écrit en 2 mots, Alien Nation, donc le pays des étrangers, qu'il a fait avec la 20th Century Fox, tu sais, le producteur de films. Donc, c'est une série pour télévision, une série télévisée, qui a traité des minorités, de la discrimination, de la ségrégation, qui s'applique à toutes les minorités, que ce soit des minorités d'étrangers, les Chinois, les Espagnols, ou LGBT, ou n'importe lesquels, et qui est beaucoup aimé dans cette collaboration avec la 20th Century Fox. Et en fait, il lie ça aussi au film qu'il avait fait, qui s'appelle Short Circuit, le circuit qui est un peu l'ancêtre de Wall-E. Vous savez, le petit robot qui a une âme, en fait, derrière sa carapace de métal. Et donc, ce film date de 1988. Et donc, il fait un parallèle avec ces étrangers qui sont mal considérés parce que différents, parce que minoritaires, avec Johnny Five, donc le héros de son film Court-circuit. Et donc, il aime bien, en fait, faire toujours valoriser ceux qui sont en minorité. Voilà, donc là, je n'ai pas compris s'il y avait un lien avec quelque chose qu'il aurait raté auparavant. So go ahead with what you wanted to tell me.
Well, yeah. Well, the fact that I could do a show that would make people think about intolerance and prejudice, it came from my childhood, because I was raised in a household. I was an only child in a household that was bigoted and virulently anti-Semitic. And so every night at the dinner table, my mother and stepfather, I would hear them using the worst kind of racial epithets and racial slurs and all of the hate names for the others. And they were white middle class people, but they had a particular bent, a particular facet of their psychology and their thinking that had just taken them into this dark side where they were intolerant and prejudiced and discriminating, and particularly as regards the Jews. And this is what I heard through my growing up years. But for some reason, it didn't stick with me. It just didn't feel right. I knew kids that were Black and or that were handicapped, or that had a various problem, or were gay, and it didn't. And I had teachers who I felt were probably homosexual, but they were always good with me and good to me, and an important person in my life. And so part of what I've tried to do in my whole career is to chip away at that kind of intolerance and that kind of prejudice whenever I can. And it's very rewarding to be able to do a project that is thought-provoking and helps people to maybe rethink what they think about somebody who doesn't look like them.
Exactly. Alors, en fait, l'origine de son aspiration à défendre les minorités, à valoriser les gens qui sont différents, parce qu'en fait, dans sa famille, ils étaient très intolérants. C'était une famille de classe moyenne, ils étaient pleine de préjugés et d'intolérance. Ils étaient, par exemple, antisémites, ils étaient racistes, ils étaient contre les homosexuels. Et il a vraiment une satisfaction personnelle maintenant de pouvoir soutenir toutes les minorités pour équilibrer, pour contrebalancer tout ce qu'il avait reçu dans sa famille et qui ne lui correspondait pas du tout à l'époque. And just to know your family, did your family change with this prejudice, attitude, intolerance, and so on? No. Okay.
No, never. It never happened. They were who they were, and it was, and it's interesting because my biological father and my mother were born where I was in Arkansas, which is in the deep South. It's a state in the deep South of the United States, where there was much bigotry, you know. And I remember as a child, when I'd visit my grandparents down there, I grew up in Washington, D.C., but in the summers I would go to Arkansas and visit my other families down there. And there'd be in a restaurant, well, in a bus station, there would be not two restrooms, not men and women. There would be three restrooms. It was men, women, and colored. And I remember as a child seeing a water fountain that had a sign that said colored. And I walked over and I turned the water fountain on because I wanted to see what color the water was. You know, why would the colored water? I thought, you know, so.
Yeah, you thought this.
That's right. And when my mother remarried and I had a stepfather in Washington, D.C., he was from Massachusetts, a Yankee and all of that. But he was a bigger bigot than she was, particularly about Jews. It was just it made my skin crawl, even when I was a kid. And even looking back on it now, I go, I'm so glad that I did not go that way and did not follow their beliefs as far as that was concerned.
Wow. So the second one was worse than the first one, from your father.
Yeah. It was, and my biological father was brilliant. He was a brilliant man, graduated at the top of his class in college and all of that. But he also felt that Black people had rabbit blood because they had sickle cell anemia, and he thought their blood's no good. That's why they're inferior to us white people. And he was a brilliant man, but I could not turn him around. You know?
Right. En fait, il explique que son père était très raciste. Alors, il habitait dans l'Arkansas. Enfin, sa mère vient de l'Arkansas. Et dans l'Arkansas, il y avait trois sortes de toilettes. Il y avait pour les hommes, pour les femmes et pour les colored, donc pour les colorés. En fait, il croyait petit que c'était une histoire de couleur d'eau, que l'eau était différente. En fait, c'était pour les personnes qui n'étaient pas de peau blanche. Et ça l'a vraiment choqué. Et quand sa mère s'est remariée à quelqu'un donc à Washington, parce qu'il est né à Washington, D.C., c'est quelqu'un qui vient du Massachusetts, le beau-père de Kenneth. C'était encore pire, lui, c'était avec les Juifs qu'il était très, très intolérant, très antisémite. Et donc, il a baigné toute son enfance dans cette intolérance. Et donc, ça l'a rendu très, très sensible à l'intolérance et à la discrimination. Et il a fait exactement le contraire. Il a ouvert son cœur et il a combattu toutes les formes d'intolérance. Great story of yours. Thank you, dear Kenneth. And one last word, maybe. Do you wish to say something to end this interview before we say goodbye?
Well, two things. First, I realized while we've been here, I've been drinking from this cup. And
yeah, great. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the island of Grand Jatte by George Seurat. You know, so I was in keeping with the French feeling of the interview. Oh, you know,
right.
But also, first of all, Stephen, I deeply appreciate your interest in me and in my work. It's very flattering that you should want to take some time and talk to me about my background and what I've tried to do. And I'm very grateful to have the opportunity. And I could not have done it without Chloé, that's for sure.
Thank you. So we'll translate. Alors, il est en train de remercier chaleureusement Steven d'avoir eu cette idée de l'interviewer et il rajoute que ça n'aurait pas été possible sans que je fasse la traduction. Thank you very, very much. Thanks you too. It's an honor. And we've been waiting.
The honor is mine, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Take care of yourself, and see you soon.
I hope so. Come see me in Los Angeles.
Yes, we'll do. We'll do it.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye, Kenneth. Bye-bye, Kenny. Bye.